Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise to Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawashi, bahasham from quadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles, a great millstone who are teach this truth and sincerity. And a shout out to Yakim and Yahawah that are out there listening, learning, and doing the work. BARAK the Yahawah, BARAK the Yahawashi, bahasham from quadash, BARAK atham. So, out here another week prophesying the downfall of you red Hebrew Edomites and all the wicked kingdoms for that matter, and what's going on now with the coronavirus as the number has quite jumped in infected cases in those self-quarantined. Dabu 7 has said that number has increased to 7,300 since it was elder brother Malcolm who had told us that it was around 5,300. Now it's jumped up into the 7,000s. So you can see that this is spreading, and they're doing that on purpose. Of course, because Travis Air Force Base, which is actually the base I was born at, has become a FEMA camp, for those that are infected. They're taking in the flights from San Francisco and moving them over to Travis Air Force Base to be in prison, to never be heard from again, a.k.a. to be quarantined. And that's what this devil's rolling out, man. But the Most High is using this devil to bring these things, because it is time, The devil's coming down having great wrath. Who stirs up the devil to have this great wrath? Who puts it in their hearts? Who stirs up the meats? It is Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawashi who's doing these things, who's mustering these things via his angels and everything else. That's the one that's really behind the scenes. They say the Rothschilds are behind the scenes, but really, truly, who's putting it into the hearts of the Rothschilds, which means red childs? Who's putting it into the hearts of these people? It is the Most High himself stirring it up, and it's because this place is now under judgment. And you can see, though, that it's been judged. It's just waiting to die is the only reason for people to live nowadays, There's no economy left. All that is gone. It's been long gone. There's not going to be any economic growth, and you can see the Most High is against this place. So, what was kind of funny is, as I was looking at, went to see a movie yesterday, and then I saw a preview of upcoming events. What's hilarious is to try to bring back Christianity, which is long dead. They're actually going to put out a movie about Jeremy Camp, that K-Love singer, in desperation. Because, you bring Vocab Malone, you bring G-Man or any of them, and we start hitting them with the facts that the Most High has only been dealing with the Israelites, and that's it. They have nothing left. So, even they bring their, as they say, noblest to come up. And yet Christianity cannot prove itself because it's a lie. They took their version of the scriptures, which the scriptures, as you go into more details, prove that he was talking to the Israelites, that the word Gentile meant Israelite foreigner, people that were in a Gentile state, but still were Israelites, because only an Israelite can repent of the things that the Most High has taught. And Esau, he can't even repent of the big one, and that is to not touch the anointed. And you can see that with all the flags and strikes on videos. You go to watch a video that brother just put up, and now you can't find it because, they're bringing in that famine. It means the Most High is about ready to remove his prophets off the street and off of YouTube, which has been the big way of getting in this word. So, for right now, we're blessed to be able to get in this word. But to those that didn't have an ear to hear, this is very bad, because then you're not going to be able to hear it. The seal is shut. Therefore, those that had heard it were already sealed. And that's why we're starting to see prophecy fall. This being the year prophecy, we're going to see a lot more as they are pushing more for the mark, because what are they burning in China? They've been burning the cash even before they started this coronavirus, but now they're just moving in incinerators into Wuhan to burn more cash. What does that tell you? It tells you that they're gonna try to tell the whole world that, handling money is now, you can spread germs, you can spread the coronavirus this way, so we gotta have a new way of buying, selling, and trading. You see how this all fits together? The new system, you won't be able to buy, sell, or trade unless you receive that mark in your right hand or in your forehead. Everything's done by scans pretty much anyways. going to a grocery store, man. You have to run everything past the scanner, even the self-checkouts. So everything's done by scan anyways. It's just that the new payment systems won't be the chip in the card. It'll be in your right hand. Because cards, they'll say that can spread disease. Why do you think the push for the real ID? Pretty much it's you're either going to get the real ID, or you're going to get the federal non-compliant ID. And eventually they're not going to even let that be an option, when you got to renew your license, I had gotten it when you could still get the federal non-compliant one, but eventually that's not even going to be an option, because I have to renew it, I believe, in 2023. But I'm not even looking to this place being around for 2023. We believe that Donald Trump may be the one that starts World War III. We're pretty sure he's the guy. Because look at everything that's transpiring, Just look at the plagues that are upon this place and the curses, man. If you watched the Daytona 500 last week, man, you would have noticed that since Donald Trump had left, and they gave their salute and all that stuff, and then he got off the track, bad weather came in, and, they didn't even get the race started for about another 45 minutes or so. Then they were finally able to get it go, but it only went 21 laps. And then they had to stop the race due to bad weather. And then the next day came in. And then the moment that started, man, there was crash after crash until that final really bad one with Ryan Newman. You see how the Most High is against this place? He's not with you, red Hebrew Edomites. And NASCAR being the number one most watched sport, pretty much auto racing is. You can see how much he despises this place and how much he despises you, red Hebrew Edomites. It's more than obvious. And that's just it, though. You Edomites are starting to feel that. You can see it happening. And, those that, want to try to save Christianity are desperate now. Because you can't save something that's been a lie all along. But, these people, they, these diehards still believe in it. They believe, even though it's more than obvious that he's only dealing with one nation of people. And he's not dealing with the whole entire world. The way he's dealing with the whole entire world is bringing these curses and these plagues upon the earth. And even these more hardcore Christians even know that Babylon is America. It's just that the 501c3 pastor won't teach that in the churches, so you got to go on the outskirts. Listen to True News TV, for instance. True News, even he'll tell you that America is Babylon the Great. And there are others out there, the Prophecy Club, he'll tell you that America is Babylon the Great. But you're not going to hear that in your regular Sunday congregations, no. But you will hear among our congregation, us telling it on the streets, whether it be one-man camps like myself, or it be three-man camps, or full camps like the ones in L.A. and San Francisco and New York. We're still telling you the same thing. We are pretty much, declaring this word, because this word has to go out, and we have been bringing out this word, and that's what they're afraid of, because once this word has gone up and the elect are sealed, then the only thing that will be happening is the prophecies will come to be. As you know that this king of Babylon, is wanting to still stay in Syria, stay in Iraq, even though Iraq is now looking to Russia, because they said, no, we want the U.S. out of here since the killing of Soleimani. But now they're looking to Magog to be a guard unto them, and Russia is making deals with them, and eventually will be the protector of Iraq. They want that protection that Syria has, to get America out of there, Things haven't been good for Iraq since America's been there. And it's America that's been using chemical warfare against the people, man. You want to talk about who has weapons of mass destruction? It's America, man. Look at this bioweapon that they're using with the coronavirus, man. America created that bioweapon in a weapons lab facility. So who's using chemical warfare? Is it Assad? Was it Saddam? Or was it always America? They have the audacity to accuse others of using it who don't use it. And then pretty much, though, they use it for regime changes. So, Joel chapter 3, and it reads, I will gather all nations and bring them down to the valley Yahawashi, and I will plead with them for my people and for my heritage Yasharahla, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. They parted us as a people. We're in every nation now. We're scattered, and we are the speckled bird. Therefore, a lot of us don't even look like, the average Israelite, because we now look like the other nations, It's happened to a great deal of us, So we've been parted, we've been dealt out, and, there's going to be a judgment for that, and that's what's happening. There's judgments in there. All these nations are being drawn into this war. And they have cast lots for my people and given a boy for a harlot and a girl for a wine that they may drink. That's what they traded us for, among each other, pretty much. You could just watch any of the so-called founding of America videos and you'll see all that, Well, you got to dig a little bit. I mean, I wouldn't recommend the so-called ones that they show you in school, but, just do your research, man. You'll find it. And you'll know that this is true. Yea, and what have you to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon, and all the coasts of Palestine? Will you render me a recompense? Because their part's in that. I mean, look at what's happening with Amalek over there in Palestine. Amalek's constantly destroying them, and that's because they were contributors in bringing us down. So now the same people that they sold us to, now they pretty much are being confounded by Amalek. Gaza Strip's constantly being bombed by Amalek, and, all these nations are beginning to hate these red Hebrew Edomites, especially these Amalekites, the least of the flock, because pretty much, though, the Golan Heights, everybody knows that that's Syria, but, President Trump said that that belongs to Amalek. Because you have taken my gold and my silver and carried into your temples my goodly pleasant things. Talking about the Rothschilds here in particularly, because they're the ones that have all of it. The children also of Yahawah and the children of Jerusalem have you sold unto the Grecians that you might remove them far from the border via the transatlantic slave trade. And then what they were doing even before that, when they were bringing people from over here over to there. They were trading us big time, I will also sell your sons and daughters in the hands of the children of Yahawah, and they shall sell them to the Sabians, to people far off, for the Most High has spoken it. Again, what they done to us is going to happen to them. And then eventually, they're going to be done away with completely after the 1,000 years are served. Proclaim you this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. And that's what's happening now, man. They're all coming up, and they're all battling, the battle for Idlib, the battle for Syria. And then you got this bigger battle in the works, America's thinking that it's going to subdue Iran, And Gomer and all his bands thinks that they're going to run the government of Libya since they're losing in Idlib. So they got a special deal with the United States, and they still want to try to work out a deal with the White Helmets to where they can fabricate a chemical weapons attack, a fake one, so that way Assad gets blamed for it. But this thing keeps falling apart because Russia, keeps on pointing that out. Russia Today News, RT, they keep pointing that out. Press TV keeps pointing that out. So, this media that they want to put a lock on, keeps on exposing them. And then you got us. You got us out on the streets telling the truth, and people are starting to do their research now and starting to find out that there's a lot in what we say, and they're finding out that's true. The Most High does hate your red Hebrew Edomites, and that Edom's not done away with. There's no way that it could be the Arabs, because the Arabs are Ishmael, the descendants of Ishmael. So it's no way that they can be, and they find out that they've been lied to by their people, man. And they've been lied to all their lives into thinking that the Edomites were done away with. Into thinking, though, that this thing called Christianity is going to save them, that they can just do whatever they want to do and just call upon the name of sweet Jesus, and he's going to save them. But you can take a look around and see that, does the Most High have a problem with this place? Is he saving anyone? Is the economy booming back? Redding hasn't seen that economical growth since 2004. Sure, it's bounced back a few times, but it's never been like it was back in 2004. It was about 16 years ago. This place has just fallen, and then especially after the Carter fire, man, what do you think that did? Now you got me even more violence in the streets, man. pretty much, man, this whole place is falling apart. And then you go around Chico, man, you got all the refugees from Paradise in there, man. So just like they done to the Syrian refugees, the same thing's happening to, if you will, American refugees. Pretty much, though, because, of course, a lot of them didn't have insurance, and this was done on purpose. It was a downsizing event, the Georgia Guidestones. A downsized event, because they already knew that 1/3 of the population of Redding was already homeless. It's all been survival, man. There's no economic growth in Redding, man. This is mostly a retirement place, But people are starting to find out, PG&E, that's another one. They keep cutting the power, man, whenever they feel like, whenever they want to run it, man. And we know that they create the HARP, and create the weather events, so they could just cut their power. Why? Because they're taking their power and they're installing it underground because they're getting ready for the war. World War III is right around the corner. It's ineffable. Nothing can stop that, And they're not trying to stop it. No. They keep on provoking that. Did you see that the U.S. just ran a Russian armored vehicle off the road in Syria? They're getting really bold with it, even though Russia has far more superior equipment, man. And who is that's putting it in them, man? Who's stirring them up, man, to think that they're invincible against Russia? When your average person, man, knows that America won't win a war against Russia, a nuclear war. Most people have seen that movie, War Games. It's ineffable that if a World War III breaks out, man, that would destroy everything. Well, that's what's about to happen, though. But you don't just have Magog, which is the big one, but you got all these other places that have bought from Magog, that have the capabilities, that have the technology. And then all the ones that America thought were their allies and trusted them, the beast and the 10 horns, the 7 heads and the 10 horns that make the beast, man, they all hate the whore. And they're going to shoot their nukes against America because they know that America started this war. And they know the least of the flock, Amalek, is the one that controls this whole system. They know about the Rothschilds in London, the 4 strong cities, network. They know that London's one of the bases, and they know about Rome being a base. Because this is Rome all over again, pretty much. It's the same empire, because they control everything, and America just happens to be the new capital of Rome. As you keep on reading into it, man, you find out, though, what's been happening, because they think that they're going to survive this nuclear war, Here it is, they're starting a war, and so the PG&E is cutting the power, and they're switching the power and getting it hooked up there, because they'll cut the power for 3 or 4 days, getting it ready for them underground bunkers. Amos chapter 9, verse 2, though they dig into hell, thence mine hands shall take them. Though they climb up to heaven, thence will I bring them down. They have these ships, the space force, and then they also have these underground bunkers. They have these submarines. The Most High is going to gather all of them, They think that they're going to survive. Well, they might survive the nuclear war, but they're still going into captivity. And though they hide themselves in the top of the Carmel, I will search and take them out thence, Those that are going to hide in a cave somewhere, thinking that they're just going to hide out, I will search and take them out thence. And though they be hid from my sight in the bottom of the sea, thence will I command the serpent, and he shall bite them. Again, man, there are serpents in the sea, which are under command of the Most High. And we're going to get them too. Those that think they're going to survive in a nuclear submarine. And though they go into captivity before their enemies, thence will I command the sword, and it shall slay them. And I will set mine eyes upon them for evil and not for good. And that's what's happening, man, Pretty much, though, just take no prisoners, man. Esau pretty much is going to destroy himself, This is pretty much the same effects that happened in the walls of Jericho. And we're seeing it happening now. And the Most High of hosts is he that touches the land, and it shall melt. And all that dwell therein shall mourn, and shall rise up wholly like a flood, and shall be drowned as by the flood of Egypt. But this one's going to be drowned by fire, nuclear fire. 200 million nuclear missiles will be fired off, and most of them will be landing into this place, making it a lake of fire as the scroll rolls up. It is he that buildeth his stories in the heaven, and hath founded his troop in the earth. It's talking about the Space Force. It's talking about all the armies of the world that America, Babylon in particularly, has built up, but all the armies of Esau, Edom. He that calleth for the fountains of the sea, and poureth them upon the face of the earth. Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawashi is his name. So it's the Most High that will be doing this. Behold, the eyes of the Most High, Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawashi, are upon the sinful kingdom, and I will destroy it from off the face of the earth, saving that I will not utterly destroy the house of Jacob, saith Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawashi. So he's going to destroy this place, but he's not going to destroy all of Yahshua. Just 2/3 of our people that are caught up in this Babylonian, philosophies and everything else. For lo, I will command, and I will sift the house of Yahshua among the nations, like as a corn is sifted in a sieve. Yet shall not the least grain fall upon the earth. All the sinners of my people shall die by the sword, which say the evil shall not overtake us nor prevent us. Again, 2/3 of our people are going to be caught up in this judgment. I just read it there in Amos chapter 9. And, these are the ones that, think that, who are just going to coast. No. We may be in the waiting room right now and watching things, but it's not always going to be that way. We have to be on the move too. Hey, I thought I was just going to wait this thing out in this duplex that I was renting, and the next thing you know, I got a 60-day notice. Even though, I thought I was going to be paying rent to this newer management place. Nope. I had to move, so I got to be on the move, man. I can't be too comfortable anywhere, The new place I moved into, that might not be there for a long time, but it's still, we have to be on the move. We're the prophets, We're watching and we're seeing, and we're going to be tested, man. We're going to be sifted too, And that's another thing, though, is that, when we get sifted and we get rebuked and all that, what are we going to do with it? Are we just going to make excuses? Are we just going to pretty much, here's why this has happened, and here's what I need to be doing? Well, that's exactly where I want to be. See, we're going to really need the Most High now, more than ever. These plagues are coming upon the earth. You already know what's going on with the coronavirus. These people ain't going to self-quarantine. Oh, man, they're going to infect people, man. When people get the flu, do they just call in sick to work, or they show up at work sick and infect everyone? So what the 7,200 people are going to do, Exactly. They ain't going to self-quarantine. And that's the way the Most High has guided this bioweapon. But he's now preparing that vaccine with the RFID implant in it. Because, of course, it's all about getting everybody microchipped so they can control the money. You see China burning the cash. All done on purpose. China's been burning the cash, That's part of what this trade war is really about. Behind the scenes is just to eliminate cash, to fake a war, to wag the dog, and to think that there's an economic war. You got to remember, it's these goat heads, a.k.a. the Rothschilds, at the end of the round table, in their secret getaway, Bohemian Grove, all these places that they meet, Bilderberg Group meetings, all that, and they plan this shit out. So, of course, it's all a dog and pony show, just like the elections are. Nobody really wins these things. They're all selections, and they've already made their minds up. That's why they do these secret meetings that you don't see on TV, because they already have plans. They control it all. And, like everything else, though, as if you had a say in this system anyways. This is not our rest. So why would any Israelite, especially a prophet, even engage in these elections? We know better, because we're prophets, we're watchmen, we're seeing things that are going to happen. Nothing's going to stop World War III. And people know, a lot of them know, that Donald Trump will start World War III. And that's why we encourage it. You know, we're like, bring it on. Let these people think that they're invincible, that America's this great place, you know, that can't be defeated, you know, is better than you attitude, you know, that pretty much that they control everything, because for a while they did. But you see, what's happened now is the rest of them places are finding out that Russia is more secure, a better trading partner, just better all around. The BRICS system, you know, is in place. That's why they don't regard the silver nor gold, you know. And when these missiles come hitting this place, they're not going to spare the children, man. They're going to utterly burn this place with fire, like us in the flood of Egypt, as the scriptures tell us. And this is modern day Egypt, you know, where our Lord was crucified. Our Lord was crucified, meaning that we weren't taught the real one. No. They used our scriptures to catfish us with this image of Caesar Borgia, which is the image of Esau Edom, you know, pretty much, you know. And we learn the ways of Esau Edom, you know. And man, you know, 2/3 of our people are still in that trance that, you know, they'll still keep their pictures up of Caesar Borgia, even though we've come out with it, what he looks like, even though we have shown that this is what he would look like, you know. They don't want to worship the real one, no. They would still rather worship Caesar Borgia. They'd rather still hold on to Christianity, you know, even though it's been a lie. Or they just go the complete opposite and they just, like, man, fuck it, you know. Well, that's just it. The Most High ain't dealing with you anyway, so you may as well just say fuck it, you know, because you're going to get your judgment anyways. You know, and that's just like I was saying earlier. Waiting to die is the only reason most people live, you know. And most of them are just being held till Judgment Day. Which you can see the judgments are going out already. The beginning of judgments, the beginning of sorrows, you know. Pretty much, man, you know. A $20 bill don't do as much as it used to. That's for sure. A dollar bill, man, you're lucky if you even get a cup of coffee. I mean, have you tried to get a cup of coffee at Starbucks for $1? You're not going to get one for $1. Not even a hot cup of coffee. You bet you may only get them from McDonald's. And you know that ain't even real coffee. But you see what I'm saying, though? Pretty much this place, this mirth, it ain't here no more. And there's not going to be an economic growth. Reading ain't seen it. I mean, pretty much, though, the only thing that they could do now is just wait. And that's what we're doing. We're waiting. We're seeing what's happening, you know. We're constantly, you know, waiting for more messages to come up, you know, as news clips come in, you know, and we read, you know, we read what's happening and we link it up to the scriptures, you know, because the Most High, you know, you can see how he's dealing with Edom. Obadiah tells us in verse 1, "Thus saith the Most High, Yahawah bahasham Yahawashi, concerning Edom, we have heard a rumor from the Most High, and an ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye, and let them rise up against her in battle." And you see all these places now rising up, you know. Pretty much, you know, Iraq is demanding that the U.S. leave. And the U.S. is not going to leave, threatening sanctions on them. So now they're looking to deal with Russia. "Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen. Thou art greatly despised." And this is talking about, of course, the Amalekites, you know, which are controlling everything, a.k.a. your Zionists. "The pride of thine heart has deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the cliffs of the rock." Talk about all you Edomites now. "Whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground?" These people think that they're invincible, man. This empire will never expire. They don't even call it an empire, even though it really is. The Babylonian Empire. Babylon the Great. But you see, they don't call it that. They call it America the Great, America the land of the beautiful, you know. And they can see that this ain't beautiful, man. This is nothing but a desolate place, man. It doesn't look much better here than it does in Syria. Go to Keswick, man. It looks like Aleppo. Like Aleppo used to. Now Aleppo is actually doing pretty good, you know. So that's not even a good comparison. But, you know, what I'm talking about, how Aleppo just looked not so long ago. Now Aleppo actually has flights going into it. And Gomer is pissed because they are expelled from that. Iran air can go in. Russia air can go in. But they're keeping Gomer and all his bands out of there. Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and thou that set thy nest among the stars, talking about that space force, thence will I bring thee down, saith the Most High. If thieves came to thee, if robbers by night, how art thou cut off? Would they not have stole till they had enough? If the grape gatherers come to thee, would they not leave some grapes? You know, again, man, they take everything, man. They don't leave you any spoils, man, when they come and they possess. How are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up? You know, again, you know, and that's just it, man. The judgment's coming. First by nuclear fire, and then those that survive this are going into slavery. All the men of thy confederacy, let's talk about all the nations now, that have brought thee even to the border, the men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee, and they that eat the bread have laid a wonder unto thee. There is none understanding in him. So, pretty much, man, all these so-called allies, man, they're now turning on America. They're like, you know what? They spoiled us too. We want our revenge. Shall I not in that day, saith the Most High, even destroy the wise men out of Edom, and understanding out of the mount of Esau? Yeah, man, they have no understanding whatsoever. They don't know what's going on. They're looking to us, the prophets on the streets, to tell them what's going on. You know? And when they actually sit down and they listen, they actually, you know, and you go into the explanations and you break it down to them slowly, calmly, you know, they know. You know, yeah. So all we can do is wait for our judgment. So waiting to die is their only reason to live. And thy mighty men, O Teman, shall be dismayed to the end that everyone on the mount of Esau may be cut off by slaughter. Again, man, you know, people ain't look at Donald Trump, for instance, and those that do are just part of the blind circus, right? 3 blind mice, see how they run. You know, those are the ones that will be misled. For thy violence against my brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. And that's it, man. When we start going in and we show you those pictures, you know, the bigger camps that have the pictures of the slave ships and all that, they know what they've done to us, you know, and they know that the same's going to happen. Especially knowing that we're the Israelites now and we're bringing that out. Shall the Most High not do that? Because they know the other scriptures. Those shall not touch my anointed. So they know that they're going to be punished for that. In that day thou that stoodest on the other side, in that day that the strangers carried away captive his forces, and foreigners entered into his gates, and cast lots upon Jerusalem, which is the northern kingdom. You could say all of Yahawah for that matter. Even thou wast as one of them. But thou should not have looked on the day of thy brother in the day that he became a stranger, neither shouldest thou have rejoiced over her children of Yahawashi in the day of their destruction, neither shouldest thou have spoken proudly in the day of distress. And we know that the Edomites have done just this. So you see, the judgment's coming to Edom. Thou shouldest not have entered into the gate of thy people in the day of their calamity. Yea, thou shouldest not looked on their affliction in the day of their calamity, nor have laid hands on their substance in the day of their calamity. Neither shouldest thou have stood in the crossway to cut off those of his that did escape, neither shouldest thou have delivered up those of his that did remain in the day of distress. For the day of the Lord is near upon all the heathen. As thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. Thy reward shall return upon thine own head. Need I say more? Oh, it goes into more. We bring it out all the time. You know, that the main judgment is going to be this nuclear war. You know, and then you got the chariots that's going to actually carry us home, but it's also going to be destroying this place at the same time, man. You know, Independence Day gives you a small glimpse of them, especially the bigger flying roll. But you're not going to win. But, you know, it's been put into the hearts of these people that they can win, you know. That they can actually win, and that's why they're building a space force. But everybody was made to believe that they're fighting aliens from another planet, when in fact they're going to be fighting against Yahawashi and the angels, you know. But you see, that's just it, though, is the Most High allowed them to be deceived for a reason, you know. So, even though they sing those songs, Sweet and Low, Sweet Chariot, it was really a song about us. And we're starting to see them chariots pop up everywhere, And even the government can't hide it from the people no more. Because, they've seen these chariots. But they just don't call them that. They call them flying saucers. They call them unknown, UFO, unidentified flying objects. Because they can't identify them because, of course, they could just be there for a second, they could disappear, and they could appear larger or smaller. But they have seen these things, and they know that these things will also be destroying this place, which is why Donald Trump has put all the money into that Space Force, First, they're going to be fighting themselves in the Valley of Yahawashi, which is right there in the Middle East, and they're going to be fighting that war, and of course, like everything else, they're going to be destroyed in that war, because this thing will be going nuclear very shortly here, You think that this Soleimani killing is just going to go unanswered? No, they are now getting ready, and they've had the nuclear technology for quite some time. Even Iraq is now purchasing the technology from Russia.
Gad,
Russia.
American Indians. Cool tribe.
Yeah, exactly. The tribe of Gad is the northern kingdom. Yep, exactly. See, and that's why we carry out the 12 tribes, because they're here. We can account for all 12 tribes. That's the biggest difference between us and those that say that they are Jewish, because the only thing that those liars can bring out is say that, we're the Ashkenazi Jews. And Ashkenaz is the son of Japheth. Then they try to come out with a lie that the Edomites are the sons of Japheth. It's like, okay, so then you're literally saying that you're the Edomites then. You get how that works? Like Rothschild means red child. Well, who are the Edomites? They're the Reds, They're the real Reds, even though they had the nerve to say that Native Americans were the Reds, But who are the real Reds? Who shows the blood through their skin? Red Hebrew Edomites, And yes, we are among the speckled bird, and a lot of us do look like that, Of course, like everything else, though, we've had concubines, and we started beginning to look like the other nations. The reason why we've been camouflaged to look like the other nations, all that, is because everything I read about how they scattered us and parted our land and all that. If we all look like John Shaft, well then, we would have all been destroyed. Think about it. Some of us were meant to escape those judgments and all that, so we could bring out this word in the very end. That's why we were spared from that, and that's why we were allowed to go through these things, being among the speckled bird. Man, and that's another thing these other camps hate, is, they'll still call me an Edomite and all that, even though I prophesy against this place. I prophesy against Mount Seir, which is what a prophet's to do, a watchman, because they don't accept. But at the same time, when I tell them I'm of the kingdom of Yahawah, the Brits, which is my surname, which, do your research, the Brits, they go back to the Moors, man. Royalty, the kingdom of Yahawah. And so when I tell them that I'm of the tribe of Yahawah, man, they just can't get past that. They can't fathom that. That I too am of the tribe of Yahawah, but now look like the other nations. But you see, that's just it, though. That's part of our testimonies, man. But we're all coming together, man. And those that are in camp, the spirit of prophecy will be found. So you'll know whether that person's aka a tear, or is actual wheat, That's why there's no new members in Great Millstone as of last year. Apostle Tahar says, all right, enough's enough. You got too many bug outs in there. We know about them agents, And we also know there's a lot of people that just ain't going nowhere. Nothing's happening, They're not being moved, They're not being quakened by this. Do you think that I had to wait till I lost my place in order to be quakened by this, or was I still going out and doing the work? Was I willing to carry my sign into the snow and actually teach? Granted, I didn't go as long because I didn't have as good of batteries then, but at the same time, man, I carried my sign into the snow and still went out and taught, you know. And I plan to expand more on it, you know, and try to go out at least twice a week now, you know, and with expanded time with this battery that I got. Because an Yahawah had given me another phone that is now able to record longer, you know, so I could go longer. And, you know, thank goodness for that. And that's why, you know, I make it a point to say, you Akim and you Yahawah, they're, you know, joined in, you know, listening and learning and doing the work, you know. Brother Malcolm always brings that out, you know, because you never know where you're going to be or when you're going to need help, you know. And the biggest thing that we need is spiritual help. You see, because, no, man, we weren't meant to carry that weight alone. But sometimes, though, sometimes you do have your lot. My lot just happens to be a single man in the city of Reading. But it dawned on, wait a minute. Native Americans, they're the tribe of Gad. And I said, yes, they are the tribe of Gad. That's true. You know? You know? That there's even more to our ancestral, you know? And that's another thing, though, is that, you know, these Edomites, when they came over here and they took over, man, you'll find out that a lot of their uncles or whatever were married to a Native American, you know? And they try to claim to be Native American because they had a concubine, you know, but that doesn't make them Native American. But you can see, though, that a lot of people try to slip in that way, you know. And again, you know, I know of someone that tries to slip in that way because, of course, she can prove that and all that. But, you know, you're still, you know, you were determined by your father, even though, yeah, okay, yeah, I'm a quarter, as they say, quarter Indian or, you know, 3/4 Indian. You know, but at the same time, though, nah, it doesn't work that way when the Most High looks at things. But you see, Esau does everything the opposite, that it's determined by the female side. And that's how these so-called Ashkenazi Jews try to claim that they're the Jewish, you know, and try to claim it through that. Even though their line goes back to Edom, because again, what did I say? Ashkenaz was the son of Japheth. But at the same time, they're trying to say that Japheth is the Edomites today. Well, how can it be two different things? No, the Edomites did conquer the areas of Japheth, but your sons of Japheth, man, are the original Grecians, you know, that were chased off, you know. You know, you take your Roman Reigns and your Usos and all that, those are the original sons of Japheth, you know. And then, you know, like, well, we'll take Dwayne the Rock Johnson, man. His father was Rocky Johnson, tribe of Yahawah. But on his mother's side was you know, sons of Japheth, you know. And that's just it, though, is you can see we're among the speckled bird, you know, and that, you know, we're everywhere, man. It's definitely celebrities, you know. Take the music artist Shakira, man. You know, most of her songs are in Spanglish, which Spanglish is where it's half English and half Spanish, but at the same time, though, you know, that, you know, we know that she's an Israelite, a sellout, yes, but an Israelite nonetheless, though, and it doesn't matter because in any tongue that we speak, even though these are all bastard tongues that we're not speaking in our original Paleo-Hebrew, still at the same time, though, our music travels and it's a happy music, you know, because we're generally a happy people, you know. But when it's time to go to war, when there's a time and a place for everything, and right now we're in the time of war. We're in the time of famine and pestilence, man. This place of mirth, you can see the mirth ain't here anymore. And the Most High, you know, is judging this place and our people that are joined unto it. Look at what's happening, man. This thing has raged out of control really fast. It's an epidemic, aka a pandemic. And that's just one of many things. Then you got the fact that, you know, our people, 2/3 of our people are also in the militaries. Jake is mostly fighting this war, World War III, and they're going to get killed in that, you know? Because when they go over to the Middle East, man, they're not coming back. And nobody wants them there either, you know? And they know that. And that's why most of them are committing suicide, you know, addicted to opioids and all that. They know this place is doomed. And they know that their mission over there was to subdue the people, you know, and to put that bullshit democracy, and they know that this democracy is a farce. They could see that. So, those that they thought were with thee have turned against thee. And Gomer, they do the best to play both sides. So right now the U.S. has a deal with them so they can keep looting the oil from there. That, we'll back Gomer up in the Idlib province so that we control their, Free Syrian Army, which is really ISIS, which is really the Ottomans, which is all Amalek, Edom, controlling the people of Syria. But at the same time, the government of Syria is with Magog, and it's not going to work, even though the U.S. is going to be the Air Force for ISIS. Anybody will tell you that America serves as ISIS, and that ISIS is a proxy of America. And they all know this. It's not even controversial to say those things anymore. So they know. See, it's as pangs of a woman in travail. Most people are ashamed now of the things that America has done. And that's why this place will not fall anymore. Will not rise up ever again. It's going to be destroyed once and forever. So we're seeing the beginnings of that, and like everything else, though, stay prayed up, and that you receive not of her plagues, because these plagues have come to Babylon. For that, I want to say, BARAK atha Yahawah, BARAK atha Yahawashi, bahasham quadash, wa abal babal, BARAK atham Shalom.